But Bob, I think that pretty much covers it. But we haven't really tested it, because when we do test it, we burn out fuses and everything else.
Well, hopefully that's one and done.
Right now I'm pulling 200 amps. Let's see how we do here.
And you can make a cup of, you can run the induction oven. Do you have any idea how many amps that pulls? Watts?
I believe that it's 900 or 1,000.
Okay, and you can at the same time can cook coffee?
Yep. And we'll just go ahead and make a cup of coffee at the same time over here.
Can you turn the microwave on with all of this?
You know, it's
one way to find out.
Do we want to?
Yeah.
Do we want to try that? Right. So we got our stove going, and let's.
Now we won't go more than that 300 amps with the fuse, do you think?
I hope not.
So we've got induction oven.
Yep.
Is that cooking coffee now?
Yeah.
It's warming up.
That's
microwave, residential fridge.
Yeah.
All right, tell us if it goes up, baby.
And,
69.
Okay.
Say it loud.
102, 107, 116, 221, 216, 214.
I'm just going to go ahead and push it just a little bit here. Let's see if we can't get a cup of coffee going here.
We're at 216.
Okay. It ought to jump up 50 or 80.
Now this is really pushing it.
Tell us when you start it.
It started.
216.
It hasn't gone up yet.
All right. Well, this is the coffee. The Keurig's going to start running it. So
314. 314.
That's pushing it. That's pushing it.
What does it say?
Oh,
we blew it?
That was as much as we could do at one time. Okay, you caught it here. That was as much as we could push on that.
And it says overload.
Yeah.
Oh, if it says overload, maybe we didn't do it. Maybe
it may have been the inverter.
Low voltage or anything?
Yeah. Oh, that was pushing it.
It says overload. I hope that means that Magnum or something shut it off.
Yeah, maybe the Magnum shut it off. It's hard to say.
You are a pain in the butt.
Okay, we're gonna find out what tripped. That was a good test. That was a really good test. AC overload. All right, and I just turned it back on, and I think we're back up and running again.
I got to say, that was pretty much textbook perfect. We installed a new 3,000 watt pure sine wave inverter in today's RV, and we replaced his old 2,000 watt Magnum modified sine wave inverter. Big improvement, big increase in power. And you need to make sure that it's wired up correctly and all the safety features are in place. But as we all know, none of this works without a good set of batteries. And lithium iron phosphate is the battery that everybody wants to get, it seems like. That's what we've got. We paid cash. We bought our own 6 months or so ago, and we love them. We hadn't done a lot of boondocking with them yet, but they're just so much cleaner, so much easier to maintain. No maintenance, really. You just put them in and kind of forget about them. Well, a company reached out to us called Dr.Prepare and asked us would we like to review one of their batteries, lithium iron phosphate batteries. And since we had a different brand, we were not that interested and we were going to turn them down. But it seemed like the stars kind of lined up. We remembered, hey, we got a friend, Dave. He's been talking about lithium. He's a lead acid kind of guy. But lately he's been talking about it. He's thinking about it and doing some research. So we reached out to him and said, hey, Dave, we've got a company. They said they'd send us 4 batteries. If you want to do a project, we'll get the 4 batteries. We'll do a review on them. Then we'll meet up with you somewhere and we'll convert your coach over from lead acid into lithium iron phosphate. He said, hey, that sounds like a deal. And we made a plan. I got a hold of Dr.Prepare, asked him would they consider 4 batteries, and we'll do this conversion on Dave's RV and put out a product review. Hence, here we all are, product review.
Yep, and I'm going to be covering them for the next coming year.
And what's your channel?
Yeah, at OurEndeavor. And come join us. We'll I'll give updates on the batteries. This is going to be a game changer because I boondock at least a couple hundred days per year. I like my resorts, but I like my boondocking even more. And my biggest thing that I struggled with is having enough battery power to make that happen. So,
Well, Dave, I think it's safe to say you're not going to have any more trouble with your power problems. With 400 amp hour lithium batteries, you're more than double what you had before, and these are lithium, not lead acid. So life is going to get real smooth in the OurEndeavor camp. And I'm also looking forward to your updates. You mentioned you're going to do regular updates and status reports on how these lithium batteries are doing for you. I'm anxious to see that. I'm pretty comfortable that they're going to be nice updates. But if people have got questions or comments or something, Dave does a live broadcast every Sunday night around sunset, but lately it's been about 6 p.m. So you can tune in, and I'm sure he'll talk about these lithium batteries. And if you got questions, you can put them there in the chat section, and I'm sure him or some of the other guys that are watching will give you an answer right away or help you out. So Dave at OurEndeavor, good luck with your batteries. Now to get on to our review, here's all the things that Dr.Prepare mentions on their battery. The capacity, can we get that whole 100 amps out of the battery? The maximum discharge current, the maximum charging current, the cold temperature protection. We're even going to freeze one of the batteries rock solid and see if the temperature protection works. You're not supposed to charge a lithium battery when it's below freezing. We'll see if that works. So we're going to spend the next 3 or 4 minutes going over all these features, showing you how we tested them and showing you the results. I think you're going to be pleasantly surprised. So it only makes sense. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to take our lithium batteries out. We're going to stick one of the Dr.Prepare batteries inside our battery compartment. We're going to hook up our 1200 watts of solar. We're going to hook up our inverter charger, and we're going to pump everything we can into that battery and see if it can take at least 50 amps. That's what it says, the maximum charging radius. And as you can see, it's well over 100 amps. Now on the surface that sounds great. I don't know if it's good or bad. We're going to check with Dr.Prepare and see what they say. But 100 amps, we can charge our batteries up pretty quick at that rate. Well, there's a lot of things you want to know about this Dr.Prepare 100 amp hour battery. But the number one thing is just how many of those 100 amp hours can you get out of it. And that's what we're going to check right now. We're going to plug it in. And we're going to pull about 10 amps an hour maybe. And we're just going to run it dry. We're going to see how much it'll pull out. So we got 12.8 volts. We're pulling it out at 9.12 amps an hour. And right over here is going to give us our total amp hours that come out of it. Going to take us most of the day. And so we'll check back in a little bit and just see what we can do. I'll tell you what, I got to say, this one really surprised me. I think they hit it out of the ballpark. We got 103 amps and 1279 watts. I think the battery says 100 amps and 1200 watts. So both of them over the top. Bingo. Nice job. So far so good. We've still got that one single battery down in the battery compartment. We've charged it up, we've discharged it, and now we charged it back up again, and we're going to see just how many amps that one battery can output. It says it can do 100 amps, so we're going to test and see with our little air fryer. I know it takes well over 100 amps to run that thing, so let's see if it can run it, and if so, if it'll go above and beyond. We may get a low voltage fault or an overload fault, but that's not what we're testing. That's just the inverter doing what it does. The objective is to find out how many amps we can get out of a single battery, and it needs to be at least 100 amps. Wow, that was quick. The voltage dropped down to 10.5 for a second there. That triggered the low voltage alarm. That caused the inverter to shut off all the loads. And once the loads went off, the battery started working its way back up to the 12.8. Everything worked just like it's supposed to. And we got our answer. the Dr.Prepare battery can deliver a lot more than the 100 amps that it advertises. I saw 145, I think, on the meter, and I don't know. Maybe it would put out even more. I think what we'll do is we'll connect another battery. We'll do 2 batteries and see how it does. I did look it up in the Magnum inverter, and it said to run a load over 1,000 watts, you need at least 400 amps of batteries. So we're not giving the inverter near what it wants to do what we're asking it to do. But that's too bad, because what we're trying to do is test the batteries, not run the inverter. So we want to push them as hard as we can and see just what they'll do and what they're made of. Alrighty, we have 2 batteries down in the battery compartment. That's 200 amp hours. But we're still being really unfair to Dr.Prepare, as our Magnum inverter clearly says that they recommend 400 amps of batteries to run loads over 1,000 watts. But this is test. This is product review. We want to push it to the max and see what happens. I want to see if our Magnum inverter is working and shutting things off if need be, and I want to see just what these batteries can do. And as you can see, with 2 batteries in there, the voltage is still dropped down quite a bit, but never so low that the low voltage alarm comes on it from the Magnum and shuts it off. I even turned off the air fryer and turned on the microwave. It uses a little bit more. I think it uses 1,400 or 1,500 watts, and it took 160 something amps, but it never got low voltage. It still stayed in that 11.5 or so. So I got to give Dr.Prepare another big plus, but I also have to get a hold of the company, Dr.Prepare, and see what they say about the maximum discharge rate. It says 100 amps, and we're getting 150 and 60 amps. That's 50% more, 60% more. And in the maximum charge rate, it says 50 amps per battery, and we're getting 100 amps. Is that good or bad? So I'll let you know what they say. Well, that didn't take long at all. Dr.Prepare got to us right back the same day I wrote them an email. They wrote me right back a few hours later. And I'm going to read you the response because it's a little bit long and I'll get it messed up. But it says, the MOS used in our BMS, which is the battery management system, supports a maximum charging current of 150 amps. So it can go up to 150 amps charging and a discharge current of 200 amps. Long-term high current charging a single battery more than 50 amps, which is what it says on the battery, 50 amps, will reduce the battery life. So we recommend the maximum charging current should be no higher than 50 amps to get your 3,000 charging cycles, which is about 10 years of battery life. And they say as a note, and they're going to put this in their manual, that to extend your life of your battery, if you limit your charging current to 20 amps, that's the best. That's the best thing for your battery. So with 4 batteries, that'd be charging at 80 amps, which is not too bad. But going to 50, you'll get the full life of the battery. It also says, we have a temperature probe between the BMS and the battery. The BMS will detect the temperature in real time, and if the battery temperature exceeds 60 degrees, which is 140, which that's the number that's stated on the battery, 140 Fahrenheit, 60 degrees Celsius, the protection will be activated and the output will resume after the temperature returns to normal value. So basically they're saying that, yeah, it can charge faster and it can discharge faster, but if you go more than their recommended amounts, it will be hard on the battery. But it takes a lot of doing that for it to affect it much. So I give them a big plus. These are really quality batteries. Every single test we put them to, we got one more. We got a battery sitting in the freezer that we're going to get out and see if the low temperature protection still works. I expect that to work just as good as everything else. It's been right on track. So let's see what happens with the frozen battery if we can get it defrosted. So we took all of our stuff out of the freezer, jammed it in on this side, and put a battery, Dr.Prepare 100 amp hour battery over here, and it's down to 5 degrees. Been in there for a day. So we're going to take it out Got ice crystals all around it. So our simulated solar panels, we've got it set up for like 70 or 80 watt solar panel, and it's putting out, there you can see it, 15 volts at 4.7 amps. But here, our solar charge controller, this is supposed to be going back and forth, kind of like the output is doing, showing that power flowing that way. Well, it's solid, so we'll look, it's at 14.6. It's trying to charge it up at 14.6, which is the right number, but it's not taking it. It's solid, so we'll let it warm up and see if that starts moving here in a little bit. It's running the load, power's coming out of it, and as you can see, it says operating temperature 32 degrees to 140 degrees Fahrenheit with low temperature protection. So it looks like it's doing what it's supposed to do. And we'll just check back here and see if this here starts moving here in the next 20 or 30 minutes as it warms up. And just like it's supposed to, once the internal temperature of that battery got above freezing, the power just started flowing, charging up the battery. It's no big surprise, I don't think. Every single thing that they've got listed on their specifications is right up to snuff. Either met or exceeded what they advertised. But really impressed with these batteries after working with them for the last couple of weeks. The install went great. They're working perfect in Dave's coach. We left Dave. He's still up in Oregon. We're up at Lake Tahoe. And I'm anxious to watch his live this coming Sunday, because I'm sure he's going to talk a lot about these batteries and tell us how they're performing. If you got more questions, tune in this Sunday. That'll be this Sunday the 14th at 6 o'clock on OurEndeavor on YouTube, OurEndeavor at Dave's channel, and see what he has to say. He's totally free to say whatever he wants. If he melts the batteries down, if they quit working, he'll let us know. But that pretty well covers it. Let me go sit down here at the table and kind of explain what the batteries cost, where you can get them, and wrap this video up. I hope you guys enjoyed watching this video as much as we enjoyed making it. Working with Dave and these lithium iron batteries has really been a lot of fun. And they really came through. I believe that they are really a quality product, and they're priced right. They're under $400. There'll be links down in the description below. Probably be a discount code from Dr.Prepare. And then Amazon has got them under $400 as well. But there is another battery that Dr.Prepare has that has a number of reviews on YouTube. And it's a whole different battery. And some of the reviews are really good, but some of them are not so good. But the one that we're doing looks more like this, and it's got the little square on the right hand side in red, talking about the features of it. Compared to the old one, that's all black. So make sure you look at the one that's got the square in red. That's the battery that we're talking about here. Both of them are Dr.Prepare 100 amp hour lithium iron batteries. But the one with the red square, that's the new upgraded version. And that's the version that we have and that we talked about. And then to be clear, Dr.Prepare sent us these batteries free of charge to do this review. We do get a small commission if you follow one of our links down below and purchase a battery. But the important part is we want to put the word out that the lithium iron batteries that we're talking about here are quality, economical batteries that I think will enhance your camping and RVing experience. That being said, watch Dave's live videos every Sunday at 6 p.m. and you can see just exactly how they're working for him. And as I mentioned, Dr. Prepare sent the batteries to us. We just simply gave them to Dave. We are not in any way connected with these batteries other than we got them and gave them to Dave. The video is totally our opinion. We're not electricians, electrical engineers, or anything. We just did this from our experience. So if you're going to do something like this, you need to do your research and make sure you're doing it safely and correctly. We left Dave and we're up here in Lake Tahoe. We got some more family and a lot of friends up here. So we're fixing to put up the camera and kind of go enjoy the Lake Tahoe area. And maybe we'll put out a little bit of video about that in the near future. Until we see you guys again next time, keep the wheels rolling, stay safe. We'll see you at the next exit. So long, folks.
We feed everything through a Victron shunt, smart shunt.
Well, you skipped your fuse and you're on off.
Oh yeah, we we did. So, and that's where's our fuse? Here it is, right here. We had one of these type fuses, and
400 amp fuse.
400 amp fuse. This is not the kind of fuse to use. I tried, everything was working for a minute, and then I burned that 400 amp fuse. So what you need is a heavier T fuse that's over here.
Slow blow T fuse.
Slow blow T fuse
Touch
up
it
there.
again.
Right up here. That's this round fuse right there. That's what's going to feed out and feed the inverter. I think it's going to do a great job. It's going to last a lot longer than this. We kind of learned our lesson on this one.
And luckily, I forgot their name, but there was a couple here in the campground.
Yeah.
And he knew, and he told us.
Yeah,
heads up right
Sonny
away.
And Marjorie, I'm not sure. They're subscribers. They've been around for a long time, and that he said, "Oh yeah, you can't use that on the. You'll go through those like popcorn at a movie." so